Welcome, dear listeners, to a journey through the echoes of the past, where history and the supernatural intertwine on the hallowed grounds of Gettysburg. This is not just a tale of battles fought and lives lost. This is a voyage into the heart of America's most haunted battleground, where the spirits of soldiers wander restlessly, and the echoes of their cries fill the night air. In the summer of 1863, the fields of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, became the stage for one of the Civil War's most brutal confrontations. It was here that the fate of a nation was decided, and it was here that tens of thousands of men laid down their lives for what they believed in. But when the gun smoke cleared and the living moved on, something remained behind. They say the past is never truly gone, and in Gettysburg, the past lives on in the most literal sense. Apparitions in uniform still march through the fog, phantom gunshots disrupt the silence of the night, and unseen entities whisper in the ears of those who dare to listen. Join us as we explore the ghosts of Gettysburg, delving into the stories of spectral soldiers, haunted landmarks, and the eerie sensations that pervade this historic town. From Devil's Den to the wheat field, from the haunted streets to the solemn cemeteries, we will uncover the tales of those who, though gone, are not forgotten. Prepare yourself for a journey where history bleeds into the present, where each step takes us closer to understanding the thin veil between life and death. This is not just a story. It's an experience where the boundaries of time blur, and the ghosts of Gettysburg beckon us to remember their sacrifice. So, dim the lights, keep your wits about you, and let us step together into the shadows of Gettysburg. In the sweltering summer of 1863, from July 1st to July 3rd, the rolling hills of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, became the crucible of one of the American Civil War's most pivotal confrontations. It was here, in this seemingly tranquil countryside, that the Union and Confederate armies clashed in a battle of monumental scale and significance. This confrontation would not only mark the turning point of the Civil War, but also etch itself into the annals of history as one of the bloodiest battles fought on American soil. The Battle of Gettysburg unfolded over 3 grueling days, each day bringing its own chapter of strategic maneuvers, heroic stands, and tragic losses. It began with the Confederate Army, led by General Robert E. Lee, encountering Union forces under the command of General George G. Meade. What started as a skirmish soon escalated into a full-scale battle, with both sides pouring in reinforcements. Iconic landmarks like Little Round Top, Devil's Den, and Pickett's Charge became the scenes of fierce combat and strategic brilliance, as both armies fought desperately for every inch of ground. As the battle raged, key figures emerged, men whose names and deeds would become legendary. General Lee, with his audacious strategies and deep faith in his men. General Meade, whose steadfast defense and tactical acumen held the Union lines, and countless others, from the rank and file to the highest officers, who displayed courage and sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds. The outcome of the battle was a decisive victory for the Union forces. The Confederate Army, battered and with heavy casualties, was forced to retreat, marking a turning point in the Civil War. The Union's triumph at Gettysburg not only halted Lee's invasion of the North, but also gave the Union a much-needed boost in morale and momentum. However, the aftermath of the battle revealed the horrific cost of the conflict. The fields of Gettysburg were strewn with the bodies of over 50,000 soldiers, dead or wounded, from both sides. The small town of Gettysburg, with its population of just 2,400, was overwhelmed by the sheer number of casualties. Churches, public buildings, and even private homes were transformed into makeshift hospitals. The task of burying the dead was monumental, a grim and somber effort to provide a final resting place for those who had given their all. The air was heavy with the stench of death, and the ground, once fertile and green, was scarred and bloodied, a testament to the horrors of war. This battle, though a crucial Union victory, left a lasting legacy of grief and loss. The fields and forests of Gettysburg, witnesses to such sacrifice and bravery, would forever hold the memories of those tumultuous days. But as the years passed, another legacy began to emerge, one that spoke of shadows moving in the night, of ghostly figures in uniform still fighting an eternal battle, and of whispered voices recounting tales of valor and despair. As we delve into the ghosts of Gettysburg, we tread on sacred ground, where the veil between the past and the present seems at its thinnest. Here, history is alive, and the echoes of the battle continue to resonate, inviting us to listen, remember, and perhaps understand the true cost of a nation divided. Beneath the serene landscape of Gettysburg, where the grass grows green and the skies stretch wide and clear, a different reality stirs as the sun dips below the horizon. When the veil of night descends upon these hallowed grounds, the tranquility of the day gives way to a more unsettling atmosphere, one where the past refuses to remain silent. Echoes of the past. In the dead of night, when the world seems to hold its breath, the fields of Gettysburg become a stage for the reenactment of a different kind. Witnesses have reported sightings of apparitions, ghostly soldiers still locked in the throes of battle, their forms shimmering in the moonlight, as if trapped in a time loop from which they cannot escape. These spectral figures, clad in the uniforms of the Union and the Confederacy, are seen marching, fighting, and falling, replaying their last moments over and over again. Some visitors to these haunted battlegrounds have recounted chilling encounters with these phantoms of the past. They speak of moments when these ghostly soldiers appeared not just as fleeting shadows, but as figures so vivid, so detailed, that they could almost be mistaken for living reenactors, except for the cold, empty gaze in their eyes, a gaze that pierces the veil of time, connecting the present with the deep, unresolved anguish of the past. But the haunting of Gettysburg is not limited to visual specters alone. The air itself carries the burden of history, echoing with phantom sounds that chill the soul. The distant rumble of cannon fire, the crackling of musketry, and the harrowing screams of men caught in an eternal battle fill the night. These sounds, devoid of any visible source, weave a tapestry of horror and heroism, a reminder of the bloody conflict that once consumed these lands. Witnesses have described these auditory hallucinations with a mixture of awe and fear, reporting moments when the sounds of battle became so overwhelming, so real, that they found themselves looking around in panic, half expecting to see armies emerge from the mists. Others have spoken of a more subtle disturbance, an unsettling silence that suddenly gives way to a single, mournful cry, a name called out in desperation, echoing across the fields before fading into silence. As we explore the ghosts of Gettysburg, we are reminded that some scars run too deep, that the trauma of war leaves an imprint not just on the land, but on the very fabric of reality. The sightings of apparitions and the phantom sounds of battle serve as a bridge between the past and the present, a haunting reminder of the cost of conflict and the souls who remain trapped in its aftermath. The haunted landmarks. In the heart of Gettysburg's hallowed grounds, where history whispers from every corner, there lie places where the veil between the past and the present seems especially thin. Devil's Den, the wheat field, and Little Round Top stand as silent witnesses to the horror and heroism of battle, each with its own eerie tales that chill the spine and unsettle the mind. Devil's Den, a maze of massive boulders and rocky crevices, once served as a deadly sniper's nest. Today, it is a place of peculiar unease, where the air feels heavy with the presence of unseen watchers. Visitors often speak of a disturbing sensation, a feeling of being closely observed from the shadows between the rocks. Photographers, drawn to the dense haunting beauty, have captured images that defy explanation, shapes and figures that appear human, yet not quite of this world. These ghostly apparitions, caught in the lens of a camera, seem to linger at Devil's Den, perhaps remnants of the sharpshooters who once concealed themselves within its craggy embrace. Not far from Devil's Den lies the wheat field, a site of unimaginable carnage, where over 6,000 men fell in a span of just a few hours. Today, the field is a place of somber pity, but those who walk its paths report experiences that transcend the ordinary. Visitors describe sudden, overwhelming emotions, grief, fear, even despair, washing over them, with no apparent cause. Some have seen spectral figures moving through the field, ethereal soldiers who vanish when approached, leaving behind a palpable sense of sorrow and loss. Rising above the battlefield, Little Round Top offers panoramic views that played a pivotal role in the Union's defense. This strategic vantage point is also the scene of ghostly phenomena. Hikers and historians alike have reported hearing the faint sounds of orders being shouted, the crack of musket fire, and a clash of bayonets, all resonating from an invisible source. Some claim to have seen ghostly sentinels standing guard on the hill, their forms shimmering in the twilight, forever vigilant, forever bound to their duty. These haunted landmarks of Gettysburg, each with its own stories of spectral soldiers and unexplained phenomena, remind us that the past is never truly done. The echoes of battle, the shadows of those who fought and fell, linger in these places, a testament to the enduring power of memory and the indelible mark of war on the human soul. As we delve deeper into the ghosts of Gettysburg, we confront not only the mysteries of the paranormal, but the profound legacy of a conflict that shaped the fate of a nation. Ghosts among the cobblestones. Beyond the fields and the hills, the town of Gettysburg itself whispers tales of the past, its buildings and streets imbued with the memories of those tumultuous days in July 1863. Here, in the heart of this historic town, the line between the living and the dead blurs, with haunted buildings standing as silent custodians of history and mystery. As the battle raged just beyond the town's borders, many of Gettysburg's buildings were repurposed into makeshift hospitals and headquarters. The groans of the wounded and the frantic efforts of surgeons filled these spaces, turning places of refuge into scenes of despair. Today, these buildings are said to host more than just the memories of those days. They are the sites of ghostly encounters that defy explanation. Visitors and residents alike report strange phenomena, mysterious sounds of agony and distress, the sudden scent of antiseptics, and apparitions of soldiers, their uniforms stained with the blood of battle, appearing and vanishing in the blink of an eye. One such haunted edifice is the Jenny Wade House, forever marked by tragedy. Jenny Wade, a young woman of 20, was the only civilian casualty of the Battle of Gettysburg, killed by a stray bullet as she baked bread for Union soldiers. The bullet hole remains in the door to this day, a somber reminder of her untimely death. Visitors to the house report encounters with Jenny's spirit, often described as a benign presence, lingering in the place where her life was cut short. Some hear the soft, sorrowful sounds of a woman weeping, while others catch a glimpse of a figure moving through the rooms, as if continuing her daily chores beyond the veil of death. But Jenny's spirit is not alone in the annals of Gettysburg's haunted history. The town is rife with tales of spectral inhabitants, from the ghostly children who play in the night, to the soldiers who seek refuge in the buildings they once believed would shield them from harm. These stories, passed from one generation to the next, add layers of depth to the town's rich historical tapestry, weaving together the threads of the past and the present into a narrative that is as haunting as it is haunted. In exploring the haunted buildings of Gettysburg and the story of the Jenny Wade House, we are reminded of the personal tragedies that unfolded amidst the larger tale of conflict and courage. These ghostly encounters serve not only to frighten and fascinate, but also to humanize the history, reminding us of the individual lives that were intertwined with the fate of a nation. As we walk the streets of Gettysburg, we tread upon ground that bears the weight of history, where every stone and every shadow has a story to tell, if only we are willing to listen. Whispers in the cemetery. In the hallowed grounds of the Soldiers' National Cemetery, the air carries a weight, a palpable sadness that settles like a shroud over the landscape. Here, where countless soldiers were laid to rest, the past is not silent. Amidst the neatly lined gravestones, an eerie peace is punctuated by the whispers of history, the echoes of lives cut short by the savagery of war. Visitors to the cemetery often speak of an inexplicable melancholy that grips them, a sorrow born not just from the knowledge of the bloodshed it commemorates, but from something more intangible, as if the very soil mourns those who lie beneath. It is here, in the quietude of the cemetery, that spectral figures are seen, blurring the lines between the present and the past. These apparitions, clad in the uniforms of their time, wander among the gravestones, perhaps in search of peace, or perhaps unable to leave the site of their ultimate sacrifice. Among these spirits, one figure stands out, the unknown soldier. His is a story that tugs at the heartstrings, a narrative of anonymity in death that mirrors the chaos of battle. This spectral soldier, seen by many but known by none, roams the cemetery with a restless energy. Witnesses describe encounters with him as deeply emotional, as he appears to seek something unattainable, recognition, perhaps, or a return to the life that was stolen from him. His presence is a poignant reminder of the many who died without name or rank, known only to God, their identities lost to the fog of war. The story of the unknown soldier is emblematic of the broader tragedy of Gettysburg, and indeed, of all wars. It speaks to the human desire for remembrance, for assurance that one's life and sacrifice have meaning. Visitors who encounter this forlorn spirit often report a compelling urge to acknowledge him, to offer the recognition in death that eluded him in life. It is as if, through these encounters, the living can offer the dead a measure of solace, a connection that transcends the boundaries of time. The Soldiers' National Cemetery, with its rows of gravestones and its ghostly inhabitants, stands as a testament to the cost of conflict. The sightings of spectral figures and a pervasive sense of sadness serve not only to remind us of the horrors of war, but also to connect us, however fleetingly, to those who lived and died in its shadow. In the stillness of the cemetery, among the spirits of those who fought and fell, the past is alive, whispering to us of courage, of sacrifice, and of the enduring hope for peace. Echoes through time. As the sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the battle-scarred fields of Gettysburg, a different kind of visitor emerges, armed with an array of electronic devices, from EVP recorders to thermal imaging cameras. Paranormal investigators step into the night, intent on uncovering the unseen layers of this haunted landscape. Their goal: to capture evidence of the spirits that linger, tethered to the site of their last earthly moments. The work of these ghost hunters is meticulous, often conducted in the stillness of the night, when the veil between the living and the dead is said to be thinnest. They traverse the battlegrounds, the cemeteries, and the historic buildings, each step guided by stories of encounters and the hope of making contact. The EVP recordings are perhaps the most chilling evidence they seek, voices from beyond, captured on audio, sometimes answering questions, other times merely calling out, lost and seeking solace. Thermal imaging offers a different kind of truth, capturing fluctuations in temperature that suggest the presence of an entity unseen by the naked eye. Investigators recount moments when the air grows inexplicably cold, and their cameras reveal human-shaped anomalies, warm against the cool backdrop of the night. These images, fleeting yet compelling, add to the mounting evidence that Gettysburg is a place of active hauntings. Yet, it's not just the professionals who encounter the supernatural here. Visitors, tourists, and Civil War reenactors share their own eerie experiences, tales that weave through the fabric of Gettysburg's ghostly lore. Imagine walking through the wheat field as dusk falls, the air suddenly filled with the sound of phantom gunfire, the cries of the wounded and dying echoing in your ears. Yet the field before you lies empty and silent in the gathering dark. Reenactors speak of moments when their scripted battles attract unseen participants. They tell of feeling a hand on their shoulder, turning to find no one there, or hearing whispered commands from voices that belong to another century. These experiences, personal and profound, serve to reinforce the belief that the spirits of Gettysburg are not merely echoes of the past, but active presences, reliving their final days and seeking interaction with the living. The stories of paranormal investigations and visitor encounters at Gettysburg form a mosaic of the supernatural, a testament to the enduring energy of this place. Each EVP recording, each thermal image, each personal tale adds a piece to the puzzle, offering glimpses into a world that exists just beyond our understanding. As we delve into these accounts, we're reminded that history is not just a series of events to be remembered, but a living, breathing entity, capable of reaching out from the depths of the past to touch the present. In Gettysburg, the past is never truly gone. It lingers, whispers, and watches, waiting for us to listen. Shadows of History. As our journey through the haunted heart of Gettysburg comes to a close, the echoes of the past linger in the air, a constant reminder of the thin veil between then and now. The stories we've shared, the apparitions and unexplained phenomena, have woven themselves into the very fabric of this place, contributing to a cultural phenomenon that transcends the boundaries of mere folklore. The ghost stories of Gettysburg have left an indelible mark, not just on the fields where soldiers fell, but on the collective imagination of the nation. They have inspired countless books, compelling documentaries, and tours that guide the curious and the brave through the town's most haunted sites. These narratives have cemented Gettysburg's reputation as one of the most haunted places in America, drawing visitors from around the world, each eager to experience the spectral legacy of the Civil War for themselves. As we delve into these tales of the supernatural, we're prompted to reflect on deeper themes: memory, history, and the human desire to connect with the past. The ghost stories of Gettysburg are not merely about fear or the thrill of the unknown. They are a testament to the enduring impact of history on the present. They remind us that the past, with all its tragedies and triumphs, continues to shape our world in unseen ways. In exploring the hauntings of Gettysburg, we confront the ways in which the past refuses to be forgotten. The spirits of soldiers, the phantom sounds of battle, the spectral figures that roam the night, all speak to a collective yearning to remember, to honor the sacrifices made, and to understand the depth of the human experience. These stories, whether rooted in fact or embellished by time, serve as a bridge connecting the living to the legions of the past, whose whispers reach us across the centuries. The ghost stories of Gettysburg challenge us to consider what it means to be haunted. Is it merely the presence of spirits that linger long after their mortal struggles have ended? Or is it the haunting weight of history itself, pressing upon our consciousness, urging us not to forget? In the end, perhaps the true haunting is not of the dead, but of the living, haunted by the memories, the stories, and the unresolved echoes of the past. As we leave Gettysburg behind, the shadows lengthen, and the whispers of history fade into the twilight. Yet, the stories remain, imprinted on the landscape and in our minds, a haunting reminder of the thin line between past and present, memory and legend. In Gettysburg, the past is never truly silent, and the ghosts of history continue to speak to those willing to listen. And so, we reach the end of our journey through the haunted heart of Gettysburg, a place where history and legend intertwine, where the echoes of the past speak to us in whispers and shadows. We have wandered through battlegrounds where the air still resonates with the sounds of conflict, explored buildings marked by the scars of war, and stood among the graves of those who fell in one of the most defining moments of American history. In sharing these stories, we've not only revisited the events that shaped our nation, but also delved into the mysteries that linger, the tales of spirits that refuse to rest, bound forever to the fields and forests of Gettysburg. These stories, whether born from the depths of truth or the heights of imagination, serve as a bridge to our past, inviting us to ponder the imprints of history on the present and the enduring nature of the human spirit. As the curtain falls on our exploration of Gettysburg's ghosts, let us carry forward the memory of those who lived, fought, and died on this hallowed ground. Let their stories, both mortal and spectral, remind us of the cost of conflict and the resilience of the human soul. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the shadows of Gettysburg. May the tales we've shared linger in your thoughts, like the quiet whisper of history that refuses to be silenced. Until we meet again, may you walk in light and peace, ever mindful of the past that shapes our path forward. This has been the story of the Ghosts of Gettysburg. Farewell, dear listener, until our next journey into the heart of history's mysteries.